Trustee Perez.
Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.2B2, the Board may take action on items of business not appearing on the posted agenda upon a determination by a two-thirds vote of the Board, or if less than two-thirds of the members are present, a unanimous vote of those present, that there is a need to take immediate action, and that the need for action came to the attention of the local agency subsequent to the agenda being posted as specified. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to the agenda for October 31st, 2019? Seeing none, the agenda stands confirmed as presented. Minutes. Approval of the regular meeting minutes. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to the regular meeting minutes of September 20th, 2019? If there are no corrections to minutes, they stand approved as presented. Comments from the public, and I would like to welcome everyone here today, especially the students, because I think every trustee up here will say that their first reason for running for this board was to serve the students of the College of the Desert and the Coachella Valley. And we are so glad that you are here. We are so glad that you are students and participating in our community in this manner. And we hope that you will continue with your education and achieve all of your dreams. So persons who wish to speak to the board on any item not already on the agenda may do so at this time. There's a time limit of 3 minutes per person and 15 minutes per topic, unless further time is granted by the board. Your comments will be timed, and you will be asked to stop speaking when the timer sounds. This time limit will be doubled for members of the public utilizing a translator to ensure the non-English speaker receives the same opportunity to directly address the board unless simultaneous translation equipment is used. Please understand, the board welcomes your comments, but we are not able to respond. So I have two requests to speak, and I don't know if everyone here knows there were request forms in the back. If you wish to speak, all you have to do is fill one of these out and turn it in over here. So the first person I have is Vanessa Moreno. Welcome to our board meeting.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Vanessa Moreno. I'm the Coachella Program Coordinator for the Council of Mexican Federations in North America, also known as COFEM. Our mission is to empower the immigrant community to be full participants in the social, political, economic, and cultural life of the United States and in their home country. We do this by our 3 different programs focused on immigration, environment, and education. And that's really why I'm here today, to share with you about our College Success Program. We advocate for students, and we want to learn about the challenges and obstacles that they face here in the Coachella Valley, so that we work together with local colleges like COD and find solutions to those key issues and needs that we're seeing. We are able to do this by having pláticas, or in other words, informal interviews, and also surveys, so that we can learn about their experiences. And as a COD alumni, I'm class of 2015, I've also seen the progress that the college has done, learning about the different programs, by having these conversations with students. We've also been able to take that to other students. So for example, we came across a student that their main challenge was transportation. We learned about the bus pass, right, through another student. We were able to share that with them, and they didn't know, right? So we really, in the end, our mission is to be the bridge between the students and the college. But we've also seen that the experiences are different between the students that take classes in the main campus and Eastern Coachella Valley, right? So what we're seeing is that our students that rely on the Mecca campus, their main challenges are classes. Some of them, that live in Salton City, North Shore, it's already far for them to get to the Mecca campus. So when they have to take other classes in Indio and Palm Desert, it's really difficult for them. And some of them have really been involved in high school, and they would like to do sports, but that's also a challenge, right? So, I thank you for being here today and really showing that you want to support the Eastern Coachella Valley, and I hope that you take our word for it, and that way we can work in the near future and present to you what we're finding when we have that more ready, but really, support our Eastern Coachella Valley students and parents as well. We're actually interviewing parents too, because oftentimes they want to support their students but are not able to do so because they don't know the college system. So we really want to bring them together, and like I said, we want to be that bridge between students and colleges. And also I want to thank you for having the Dreamers Resource Center. This work came also from finding that students were discouraged about going to college because they didn't have that kind. They thought they had to rely on that to go to college. And now I'm able to share, hey, the Dreamers Resource is now open. And as a dreamer myself, right, I'm so thankful that you have that now. But even that's a challenge for them because, for example, I was able to attend the ALAS meeting. I'm an ALAS Con Futuro alumni as well. So my time's running out. Is it okay if I go over? Or just for like 10 seconds?
Without objection.
Okay,
I don't see
awesome.
anyone objecting.
Thank you. So then I was able to attend the meeting because I also want to support the club in my capacity with COFEM. But even 15 students were there at the meeting, and that was great because back then it was only like 5, 6 of us. But only out of those 15 students, 2 were from the Eastern Coachella Valley. So that also shows, right, we want to be able to bring students to these awesome programs and services. But again, it's really hard for them. So thank you for your time, and thank you for being here today, and I hope that we can work together in the near future to really support students from the Coachella Valley and more to the east side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the next person that requested to speak is Jasmine Ibarra.
Good morning, everybody. Excuse me, I'm a little ronca this morning. I also work with COFEM, Council of Mexican Federations. I'm the program assistant, but I'm a student at College of Desert as well. I'm trying to get my AA in humanities and transfer to get my bachelor's in arts and linguistics. I started off going to Copper Mountain because it was a little difficult for me to get classes. I've been in COD for about 3 years now, because I was able to get classes as I went on, and was able to get classes in the Mecca campus, which is closer to my house. That way also, I was able to work while going to school because the campus was so close to my house. But as I started needing more classes that were more into what I was studying, it got difficult because most of the classes are in Palm Desert when it's more specialized classes. So right now I'm only taking an online class, which is one of the other options I do, which is so I won't have to, especially because I have to work, I don't have to travel back and forth because I'm lucky enough to be able to have transportation. But even for me, it's a 30-plus drive to the Palm Desert campus. So, but like Vanessa had mentioned, we've seen the progress that College of Desert has done for the Eastern Coachella Valley, and we'd like to see that progress keep moving, especially with the ELS, classes here, because I know my mom has been a student for ELS with College of Desert. So, we see the progress and we like it, and we just want to keep bringing it to the Eastern Coachella Valley because there's a lot of students who want that opportunity, and I know you guys will help us in achieving that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no other requests to speak, at this time, the board needs to go into closed session. We will reconvene, hopefully on time today at 10:30, or 10:45. We'll be in closed session from now until 10:30. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. And to direct that the complainant be notified of the final decision. The motion carried with 3 members voting in favor, 2 members abstaining. The motion carried 3-0. Authorization, we also, in closed session, had a motion that was made by trustee Wilson and seconded by trustee Yant to authorize President Kinnaman to extend an offer of employment for the interim executive director of the foundation. The motion carried with 5 members voting in favor and 0 members voting no, and the motion carried 5-0. And that is what we accomplished in closed session. So, that brings us on our agenda to public updates. I would like to President Kinnaman,
Yes.
this is you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to introduce Amanda Phillips, Dean, Counseling Services, to introduce the student who will read the proclamation for Transfer Month.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's my pleasure to introduce Irene Morales. Irene recently transferred to California State University, San Bernardino from College of the Desert.
Whereas transfer to a four-year university is one of the primary roles of the community college system, as outlined in the California Master Educational Plan and reaffirmed in California Promise Program. And whereas the social and community impact of obtaining a bachelor's degree improves financial stability, health, and increases tax revenue, helping our national, state, and local communities. Whereas the State Chancellor's Office has identified the Inland Empire as an area for opportunity for growth in transfer numbers. And whereas College of the Desert is one of the California community colleges striving to achieve the state's goals and is a primary community college serving the entire Coachella Valley. And whereas College of the Desert has had the largest graduating and transfer-ready classes in our history for the last 4 consecutive years, and whereas College of the Desert has dedicated fiscal and personnel resources to actively grow our transfer population and streamline degree pathways for students. And whereas October begins the application cycle to the California State University System, our largest transfer partner institution. Now, therefore, be it resolved that October be proclaimed Transfer Month at College of the Desert.
Thank you.
Dr. Kinnaman.
I'm sorry. Again, I would like to ask Dean Amanda Phillips to introduce the individuals who will read the proclamation for National Native American Heritage Month.
All right, thank you again. At this point, it's my honor to introduce Teresa Mike of the Lummi Nation, Michelle Mike of the 29 Palms Band of Mission Indians, Celeste Townsend of the Fort Bidwell Indian Community, Robert Prezelcasa of the California Indian Nations College Vice President of Academic Affairs, Randolph Avila of the Klamath Tribes and California Indian Nations College student and College of the Desert student. They will now read the proclamation for National Native American Heritage Month.
Good morning.
Greetings. I'd like to thank the Creator for this wonderful day in which we're able to be a part of. Whereas our nation is extremely linked to the histories of Native Americans who first inhabited this great land, and whereas their history speaks to us through the names of our cities, lakes, and rivers, the foods on our tables, the magnificent ruins of ancient communities. And whereas we have great pride in our cultural, spiritual, linguistic, and kinship bonds. Now therefore, be it proclaimed that the District Community College District Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, and students recognize and appreciate the many lasting contributions of Native Americans. Be it forth proclaimed that the Board of Trustees the Desert Community College District is pleased to acknowledge the month of November as National Native American Heritage Month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. It's me again. I got all caught up in that. Next, I would like to introduce Kristen Nelson, International Education Program Specialist, who will introduce the students who will read the proclamation for International Education Week.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Kinnaman, and Executive Cabinet. My name is Kristen Nelson, Senior Specialist for the International Education Program, and today I'm honored to introduce November's International Education Week. This is a joint initiative of the U.S. Departments of State and Education to celebrate the benefits of international cultural exchange and education in the United States. In honor of this year's International Education Week, the International Education Program invites faculty, staff, and students to participate in an exciting week-long schedule of events beginning on November 18, 2019. Additional information can be found on the event flyer and on the International Education website. I would like to introduce and invite 4 of COD's exceptional international students to read an International Education Week proclamation for your consideration. Lorena Mojica Luna, Mexico; Daniel Moreno, Ecuador; Miguel Borges, Colombia; and Ryan Talib, Jordan. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. Proclamation International Education Week, IEW. Whereas the first International Education Week, IEW, was first held in 2000 and was a joint initiative of the U.S. Departments of State and Education. And whereas today IEW is celebrated in more than 100 countries worldwide and is an opportunity to celebrate the benefits of international education and exchange worldwide.
Whereas exchanges are critical to developing mutual understanding and respect, building leadership abroad, fostering an appreciation for the U.S., and investing in the future relationship between Americans and people around the world.
And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Desert Community College District Board of Trustees, staff, faculty, and students recognize and appreciate the many benefits of international education.
And be it further proclaimed that the Board of Trustees of the Desert Community College District are pleased to acknowledge the week of November 18th through the 22nd as International Education Week. On behalf of the International Education Department, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Due to schedule conflicts, we unfortunately do not have a student representative available for Phi Theta Kappa to read the proclamation. Lastly, I would like to congratulate the cast and crew of Phantom of the Opera for their amazing work and recent recognition. At this time, I would like to ask Michael Hadley to come over and speak about the recent winnings.
Yay, Mel.
Good morning.
King of
So I'm just going to give you the list. Is that okay? So we were in the category of Cabaret Review Variety Show. We won for Outstanding Lighting Design, Keith Smith. Outstanding Supporting Female Performer, Michelle Fiore. Outstanding Supporting Male Performer, Raul Valenzuela. Outstanding Lead Performer, Female, Sarah Elizabeth Combs. Outstanding Lead Male Performer, Jason Livesay. Outstanding Lead Male Performer, John Helms. Outstanding Musical Director, Darlene Romano. Outstanding Director, Michael Hadley. And Outstanding Production, Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah!
And that's it.
That concludes public updates.
Well, thank you very much. That was exciting. And I forgot when we reconvened today, I wish everybody a happy Halloween and welcome everyone in the audience today. We're so grateful to have people from the community come out, and especially our students. We always welcome the students, and we know how difficult it is to attend our board meetings because they're here held during the day when you have classes. At this time, we'll start the reports. The Associated Students of College of the Desert, ASCOD.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Trustees, Dr. Kinnaman, and Executive Cabinet. My name's Larissa. I'm the Vice President of the Student Body, and I'll be filling in for our ASCOD President Jasmine De Leon. We had a very busy month. We had a lot of things going on. To start off, we had Club Rush on October 1st and 2nd in the Palm Desert campus. We also had the opportunity to do a class presentation in the Indio campus, and we got to inform about a lot of students about the COD standing committees and the effort of the voting of the voting bodies. We also informed them about the College Planning Council and the Board of Trustees, and we got a lot of students interested in joining us in our ASCOD board. So we are looking forward to getting more information about that, people. We also participated in Paint Pastel Pink on October 12th. And we also had Spirit Week October 21st to 23rd, which was a week ago. The 21st, it was our pajama day. We gave out donuts and coffee to all the students in the Palm Desert campus. On Tuesday, we had a sports day, and we gave out snacks and refreshments to all the students. On Wednesday was our COD Spirit Day, and we had a big obstacle course in the amphitheater, and a lot of students got to race in there, and we gave out tacos to all the students too. We also attended the California Community College Students Affairs Association Leadership Conference this past weekend in Sacramento. 10 of us attended, and we attended some workshops such as parliamentary procedure trainings, Brown Act training, leadership based on personality traits. We all had a lot of fun, and we got to learn more about each other and how to be a better leader. We also have events coming up this month. We have a table tennis tournament, and it's November 15th in the amphitheater, and it will start at noon. We also have we will have Club Rush in Indio this upcoming month too, and it's going to be on November 18th, and it's going to be from 10 to 2, and it's in the Indio campus. We will also have our ASCON meeting that same day at 2:30 in the Indio campus as well. We will also be attending the National Conference on Student Leadership on November 21st to the 25th, and this is going to be in Orlando, Florida, and there are 6 members of ASCOD attending. We are all excited to attend this conference and learn more about the ways to improve our leadership skills. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you. You want to introduce the next one? Oh, you'll do it. Okay. Now we'll hear about our auxiliary College of the Desert Foundation, and Dr. Kinnaman said he would give that one today.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yesterday, we had an opportunity to meet with the foundation for their annual retreat in the beginning of our season, and we had a very full day and had many new members that we're excited about that have come on board the foundation. And in addition, the foundation board had the pleasure of listening to presentations from the vice presidents, and the vice presidents working with Pam Hunter to share with them about the past 5 or 6 years, what's taken place and transpired at College of the Desert, and then what we anticipate moving into the future. They were quite impressed with the presentation and the significant impact that we're having on students and our student outcomes and moving the needle. And so I, again, want to express my appreciation to the team for providing that presentation and participating because it was definitely the highlight of the day. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. At this time, we'll hear from the California School Employees Association, CSEA. Do we have, yes, okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Irene Morales, and I'm an outreach specialist with the EDGE Pledge program. I'm here filling in for CSEA President Keith Prouty as he's on his way to the CSEA Statewide Educational Committee. We want to take a moment to say thank you to the City of Coachella for having us here today. Classified staff are very excited to continue supporting the expansion of our services across the Valley, including our East Valley communities. CSEA and the district have been very productive at the contract negotiations table. We hope you support our agreements and know that we are very appreciative of the efforts and compromise made on both sides. Special thank you to Vice President Ramont and Vice President Sakovic for your understanding of classified staff needs as well as your transparency throughout the process. We also have a number of reclassifications on the agenda today. We are happy to see the adjustments made to each of these job descriptions. We believe that the modifications will enable classified staff to better support the district's goals. Recently, President Kinnaman and Vice President Baker have provided us with an opportunity to establish a training program for classified staff. The program began this month and provided 2 basic computer skills training sessions for our custodians and groundskeepers. As part of their hands-on task, staff sent an email correspondence to Vice President Baker and Keith. A special thank you to Vice President Baker. Staff appreciated your individual response to each employee with encouraging words and feedback. Classified staff were very thankful for the opportunity. We also had a training this week to learn how classified staff contribute to bringing diversity into the workplace as hiring committee members. The training not only informed us about best practices and what the Equal Employment Opportunity Act is, but also provided insight as to how hiring committee members can further widen the diversity pool within the pool of candidates, such as giving more value to work experience. Additionally, the training encouraged us to recognize our own personal bias, as well as help shed light on ideas and areas for further professional development amongst classified staff. Specifically, we discussed creating a mentorship program to create a diversity-focused pipeline into leadership roles because diverse leaders make diverse staff. We look forward to continuing to build on classified professional development trainings as well as on many other items and further bring unity amongst all our groups on campus. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. At this time, we'll hear from College of the Desert Adjunct Association. Do we have a representative? I would hoped we would. No? Okay. Sometimes at an off-site location, it's difficult for some of our faculty and our employees to attend. So we'll move on to College of the Desert Faculty Association. Do we have a representative for them? Nope. We'll move on to Academic Senate. And yes, we do. Thank you.
Good morning. Happy Halloween. Someone recently shared that I attend 1 million meetings a month. I clarify that it is merely 999,999, and that part of it is because I'm simply nosy and want to know what is going on across campus. I also recently spent part of an afternoon walking around campus, talking to colleagues in other areas while looking for full-time faculty to serve on the Technology Master Plan work group. I had gotten lots of interested part-time faculty. This approach actually did not work. Some people even ran away from me. But a few well-directed phone calls to colleagues did, and I am happy to say that we have a group of both full and part-time faculty to help guide this work, in addition to the already working dual enrollment and non-credit groups. However, the effort to get faculty to serve on committees of all kinds is an ongoing challenge, and I think it is important to remember that full-time faculty are contractually required to spend 2 hours a week on committee work. This means more than serving as an academic unit rep on a Senate committee that meets for less than 2 hours once a month, and I think it would behoove all of us to work on ensuring that faculty remember this needed work is part of our job and not an inconvenience. Some updates from the Faculty Development Chair, Donna Green. She says we have a short spring flex of 2 days and the theme is active learning. With thanks to Dr. Neary, we will be sending a cohort of faculty to the On-Course National Conference that is being held in Palm Springs this May. We have several faculty who have applied for sabbaticals, and the sabbatical subcommittee will be meeting in November to review the proposals and provide a recommendation to Dr. Kinnaman. Curriculum. The Curriculum Committee and its relative, the Curriculum Tech Review Subcommittee, are arguably the hardest working groups this time of year, reviewing hundreds of courses being updated and proposed and approving new programs. However, we do need to be mindful that curriculum development is the purview of faculty and not administrators, and I hope we can all work to ensure that faculty are the drivers of this process at all levels from conception to approval. Educational policies and practices. The Campus Climate Survey for students was recently launched, and we hope that this will help us as a college assess how our students see the college in providing a safe place that welcomes diversity. We are also hoping that a climate survey will be done with all employees to ensure we are providing an equally welcoming place for our diverse employees. Outcomes and assessment. OAC has a new website, and I want to thank Ed Reed and the SLO coordinators for getting that site live. The site is intended to provide more robust resources for faculty as they work to complete not only course and program assessments, but also as they work on the program enhancement and review plans. The site contains samples of good assessments and PEPs and PEP-ups, and we hope this resource will benefit faculty. Educational Technologies and Distance Education. Pam Stegeman is the chair, and she will be co-chairing the Technology Master Plan Work Group along with Sherry Willis. EdTech is also looking at how we as a college acquire new technology and then help facilitate its integration into our teaching. If faculty are not using technology to improve student success, then the college is not using its resources effectively, and the EdTech committee has some great ideas about how to improve this process. Adjunct updates. Artel Garcia is our senior adjunct representative, and along with junior adjunct representative Mike Gladich, they have been working on providing consistent outreach to adjunct faculty. They have been helping to ensure that all adjuncts know about the college's Open Educational Resources Initiative and have copies of the excellent student resource guide. Their efforts are much appreciated. As Senate President, I have found I spend much of my time working to assign faculty to hiring committees, as well as the committees already discussed above. While it seems like a straightforward process, there are actually several stops along the way of getting this accomplished, and we have had some struggles to make this work efficiently. I am pleased to report that Dr. Mark Zakovic, Terry Wilson, and Andrea Staley from HR and myself are now meeting monthly and are already working to improve this process as a way to encourage more faculty to participate and make the scheduling of meeting and interview times more streamlined for all involved. Hiring new colleagues is of great value to the college, so working to make the process more successful for all is a great step forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, and thank you for attending. We appreciate the fact that you took the time to come out. This time we'll hear from members of the governing board, and I've been asked by one member if they could speak at the end, so we'll do that. Our student trustee is not here. She will be attending at 1:30 this afternoon. She had classes in the morning. Trustee Wilson, we're going to start with you today.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for being here today. It really means a lot to the Board of Trustees to see such a great turnout. So thank you all for taking the time to come today. It is truly, truly appreciated. Thank you. And also wanted to comment on the action taken by the board with regard to Dr. Christine Anderson. I think it's a really great move to bring in Dr. Anderson, who has a wealth of experience that she brings. And we really need to have Dr. Kinnaman take a break. He He's been assuming both positions as superintendent and also as the ED for a little while now, and it's hard enough to run a community college, let alone the board foundation. So really pleased to see someone with Dr. Anderson's background that's going to be taking on that job. You know, we have satellite campuses all over the Coachella Valley, including Mecca Thermal. So the health of our residents means a great deal to us. So I do want to express some concern with regard to the air quality issues due to the smoke from the dump site here. And I want to join with the Coachella Valley Unified School District, the Desert Healthcare District, the County Board of Supervisors, and the South Coast Air Quality Management District in expressing my concern regarding the health of our residents and the students who attend our Mecca Thermal campus, which is only about 6 miles from the dump site and the smoke. My colleague, Trustee Perez, is going to be speaking more. It is within his purview, his geographic area, but I do also want to express my concern. And Madam Chair, I would like to propose that a letter from the Board of Trustees be sent to the Bureau of Indian Affairs expressing our concerns with regard to the health impacts to our residents. And also, finally, many thanks to folks for the cards and et cetera with regard to the passing of my mother. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Wilson. Trustee Sanchez Fulton.
First of all, my condolences, Trustee Wilson. I know how hard that must be for you. Also wanted to today start with a quote. And do what makes you happy. Be with who make you smile. Laugh as much as you breathe. Love as long as you live. Happy Halloween and Feliz Dia de los Muertos, which we will be having. So I want to give a very, very gracias for the city of Coachella and the library for having this very, very special, very, very memorable event. I taught here at Coachella Valley Adult School back in 1998 ESL. It's a very, very special place for me here. When the library, when I was there, I was, kind of reminiscing with your teacher, Juanita, when we were both ESL teachers here at COD back in the day. We didn't even have air conditioning when we taught ESL. This was the funnest times, Pam, anywhere we were sent to teach, we would just teach. I taught also out in Salton Sea, so it's a very, very special place. And to see this beautiful building and how Coachella has come, it's just so very, very emotional for me because this is where I began teaching. On that note, I just thank your teachers, and I want to thank all the students that are here to come to our meeting and to see what we do. Please come to our board meetings. It's an open meeting, and you're always welcome to come because it means a lot when you're here at the audience. That's why we run for office, because we want to make a change, hacer un cambio for la comunidad. So it's very, very nice. Last week I attended, representing the college, the golf cart parade. It was very nice to attend, and along with my fellow trustee, Bonnie Estefan, and a lot of our College of the Desert Foundation members. So it's always great. We didn't win, but we were there to participate. Also attended a very special event that I learned about. It was called Center Stage in Palm Springs. It was a fundraiser, and what they do out in the community and is wonderful. They have a food pantry, they do social services, and they also opened up an East Valley office out here for the LGBTQ community as well. Attended also this last week the Greater Coachella Valley Chamber of Commerce Taste of Indio, and went to the opening of the Macy's Starbucks. So those that are looking for jobs, Macy's is always hiring a lot of our COD students during the Christmas holidays. So please go there and look if you want to get into the field of Macy's. They're there. A lot of our students are there working, so they're hiring right now. Yesterday I attended with Trustee Perez the Adult Justice System symposium by Supervisor Perez. It was wonderful because I've been on that committee for the past 5 years, working with the nonprofit collaborative, where we deal with probation officers, and all the different nonprofits in the Coachella Valley are there, and we talk about the services that are given. It was very insightful, and a wonderful get-together with the chief of police was also there. And I really, really want to thank Jeff Baker and Dr. Annabelle Neary to attend that and see. It was just really great that you guys were there. And I know how busy you were because you had to be at the same time at the foundation meeting. So thank you very much for attending and coming to that event. So as now, I'm now on as your state trustee up in Sacramento of the California Community College League. I'm now the chairman of the Second Chance Community Colleges. So we're looking at some funding to hopefully come to the College of the Desert, and we'll give you an update on that, of how we could do hybrid classes for our detention centers, our prisons, and I believe Dr. Neary will give us an update of what we're working on right now. But just to let you know, I'm very honored to have been appointed as the chairman of that task force for the California. Madam Chair, may I continue just?
Without objection.
Thank you. Also, along with Chairman Estefan, Trustee Perez attended the ACCT National Conference along with Dr. Kinnaman. It was very, very, very informative. I was able to attend San Francisco City College and did a tour. And particularly I looked at was their Culinary Academy and their ESL and GED classes. So while we were there, I thought we can bring something over, Dr. Kinnaman, instead of having the reason why they have such a high demand and their classes are always full is that they have crunched together a lot of fast track classes in their Culinary Academy, which was, I thought, very interesting. Instead of doing a whole semester long, because a lot of the students are working 2-3 jobs, we could maybe, something that I learned there, maybe a best practice was to integrate a very fast-paced 6-week program where you can get a certificate and then do a online course, because a lot of the students work. This is what was going on in San Francisco and in the restaurants for the culinary, and I thought that would be really great. And I said, how long does 6 weeks? The most max 8 weeks. So they get that certificate, and then they're ready. The restaurants have already have the jobs available. So it's basically doing 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and then getting a job ready there for them, prepared. And I thought that was amazing what I learned at San Francisco City College and their Culinary Academy. Attended something, and that I'm very excited of. I'm just flustered right now because I'm so excited to announce this. It was a workshop with Google and Oracle. It was a panel. So I'm very happy to report that Google is going to be working with 20 community colleges to, what is it, Dr. Kinnaman, you were mentioning?
Yes, there has been a pilot of 20 colleges, and they're expanding that and making it available to College of the Desert as one of the expansions.
So we're very excited to hear that, and this is something that I'm very, very pleased that we're able to have here. So this ends my report, and very happy to be here in Coachella. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Yant.
Thank you. My apologies with my difficulties with my phone. I'm having some relatives who are in the fire areas, so I have to watch that. So my apologies for that, but also my real appreciation to all the firefighters in California who are doing a wonderful job today. Also want to express appreciation to all the people that arranged for us to be here today. It's important for us to meet at other community sites, but it is a major task to get us here. And I really appreciate what you did, and the rest of us do as well. So thank you all for doing that. And with Trustee Wilson, I want to echo the appreciation for Christine Anderson for joining us with the foundation. I worked with Christine for many years when she was superintendent in Palm Springs, and looking forward to having her with us to the extent that she can be with us. And finally, worrying about phone, and then I have problems. Here we go. The Palm Springs Library asked me to announce that the Legacy Wall, which features the LGBTQ history of over 20 people, over 20 distinct fields in 30 countries of work, will be in Palm Springs. This is quite an exhibit. It will be in the Palm Springs Library November 12th through the 23rd. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to give my report, and then we'll come back to Trustee Perez. This month was, there were a lot of activities going on. I'd like to start out by, again, thanking the City of Coachella, the citizens of Coachella, and the students that are here today. It's very meaningful when we do have a meeting out in the community and it's so well attended, because sometimes we know it's very, very difficult for people to take off work to attend these events. And this is an absolutely beautiful facility. It's one that, since we opened it, I know every member of the board has wanted to get out here and see it, see where the classes were being held. And I'm so thankful that the City of Coachella is working hand in hand with us to try to make space available so that we can be in your community, close for you to be able to come to the college. Every trustee up here, I know, takes it to heart when we hear students say, well, there isn't a facility near us. My mother was a naturalized citizen, and it was always her dream to go back to school. She finished high school when I was in the 9th grade. When I went to college, I took her back with me. It was my third time going back to school, because I started a university where I just wasn't fit to be at that university. And I went back to a community college, and they built me up, gave me the confidence to go on, and I went back to the other facility, and I didn't like it. I went back to the community college. I finished my AA degree and then transferred to San Diego State, where I could remain at home and go to college. And my mother, I had taken her back with me that third time that I went back to school, as I tell people. It took me several tries. And I took her to the community college. She was lucky she had me for a counselor to schedule all of her classes so that she could graduate 1 year after me. But she was in her 60s, and it was a fulfillment of a dream for her. So I know that there are many individuals, maybe you're just learning English at one of our facilities now, and you want to go on. Hopefully we'll be able to expand fast enough so that we can keep encouraging you so that you can stay at home like I needed to do and like my mother wanted to do, and fulfill your dreams. So that is always been one of my goals, always will be, and I know everybody on the board sides with me when I say we're here for the students first. That is what we're about, to the community and fulfilling the dreams of our students, whatever they may be. So welcome. We're very happy to be here with you today. 3 of us attended the ACCT conference, the state conference, Trustee Perez, Trustee Sanchez Fulton, and myself. The first night we had a wonderful guest speaker, and he was selling a book. And Dr. Steffens won. I just love books because I'm a reading specialist now, and a teacher. And Barry Posner I bought these books, and I will be reimbursed, I heard from the college. But I bought one for every member of the board, and I bought one for our president of our board, our president of our college, and they are all signed by the author to each of you. Because I felt when he was talking, and he was talking about leadership, that he was speaking about my board, because we tried to be so professional. We all come from different backgrounds, we all bring different interests to the board, but we all share a common vision for the college, and that's to serve our students and our communities the very best that we can. And even though we may have disagreements, we're always together on things, and we're there. It's a very professional board, so I wanted you each to have this. And those of you that were there and got to hear what he had to say, I think you know what I'm relating to. I hope you do. And I hope you feel the same sentiments that I did, because I felt this spoke to you. And I probably will go over, and I apologize. Then when we came back, I was fortunate enough that my boyfriend had the night off, and we could attend the Addams Family theatrical performance. And I want to say that was the absolute best performance. I laughed, I cried. It was just, I grew up with the Addams Family, and those of you that have know how old I am. Don't tell anybody. But it was a great performance, and I wish it were going on this weekend as well, but I know how difficult it is to participate in those, performing every night repeatedly. But it was wonderful, and Mike, you were fantastic. And if you didn't go, gosh, I wish there was some way they could have taped it and sold it, because it was that great. The next morning I got up and I went out to the Arco Travel Center, which was having its ribbon cutting for its reopening. And and Trustee Perez was there at that, and he may report further on that. It was absolutely fantastic. That night was homecoming. And that was a well-fought game. Our Roadrunners performed wonderfully. It's just we were overmatched. That was totally. It was just the other team was just so much bigger than us. I'm sorry, but they fought the battle right up to the end, and I really thought we were going to get one more point in there. But oh well. The next morning was the golf cart parade, and I got to sit with the COD section and root for our COD golf cart, which was absolutely fabulous with its Roadrunner on top, and. The other thing, this last month, there was a meeting for the K-12 districts and the schools that have concurrent and dual enrollment. And our Vice President, Jeff Baker over here, was the moderator, I guess you might say, for that. He led the discussions. And I heard from my principal how wonderful he was. And the only thing my principal did say was that our auto shop instructor was now going to be called professor. And my principal worked really hard for his doctorate, which he completed last year. And he says, I don't even get to be called professor. And I said, well, that's because you don't work for COD. So, he said it was a wonderfully run meeting. It was the best meeting he had ever been to for one of those events, and so much was discussed, and that everybody was on the same page. And at the next meeting, I will have a letter with his true sentiments. So this concludes my report, and at this time, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Trustee Perez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And if everyone will bear with me, I actually have quite a bit of things to report. At the beginning of the month, I had the great privilege of attending the HACU conference, which is the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, and that was pretty awesome. The amount of students in attendance and their energy was amazing. I think in the future, and I was speaking to Dr. Kinnaman about this, Carlos, apparently we used to take students before, and I think it'd be great if we could do that again in the future. I'd also like to see the college perhaps get more involved with HACU. The majority of our students are of Mexican, Latino, or Hispanic descent, and I believe that we can get recognized nationally for the great work that we're doing. Second, I also had the opportunity to attend the ACCT National Conference in San Francisco along with my colleagues, And it's always interesting to see the good work other districts are doing throughout the nation and to network with other trustees. I brought back some ideas that I'll share with the board in the near future, and I think it was also pretty cool that I'm the youngest person in the unofficial under 45 caucus, which I think is pretty neat. I attended Supervisor Perez's Mariachi Gala a couple weeks ago at the McCollum Theater, and that was a very beautiful event. Kudos to the mariachis and to our very own symphony. They were amazing. Thank you to Supervisor Perez for putting the event on, and to Harold Massner for his generosity and donating all those tickets to folks. I attended Chandi Groups USA's grand reopening of the Mecca Travel Center, and I just want to acknowledge all that the Chandi family has done in Mecca and their investments in the Eastern Coachella Valley. They're bringing a lot of economic development to the area. Attended homecoming last weekend. Congratulations again to our 1979 championship team, and Pam, Marion, great job for all that you did. We came short in the game, but our guys fought hard until the last whistle. We're young, but we're learning, and we'll get better. Attended Supervisor Perez's Adult Justice Symposium. It's really great to see Riverside County working with folks to see them get rehabilitated. I'd like to echo Trustee Sanchez's comments, Dr. Neary, and maybe in the near future we can have a study session to see what it is that we're doing for our previously incarcerated folks or those that are currently serving in prison or at the county jail. And finally, I'd like to welcome you all to my hometown, the beautiful city of Coachella. Bienvenidos a Coachella. I'm very excited to be here, and it's a very special occasion, as I think this may be the very first time College of the Desert has had a board meeting in Coachella, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Thank you to the staff for making this possible. Julia, Casey, Mike, everyone else. I know it must have been stressful, but thank you so much. And you know what, everyone? I'm hopeful. It was such a beautiful celebration with all our students, and it was such a beautiful morning. It's a very, very monumental day, and I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that my predecessor and all her hard work that it took for her to bring this to this area. I know that this is the beginning of a new day for College of the Desert and the beginning of fostering of a better relationship with Coachella and the Eastern Coachella Valley as a whole. It's actually quite exciting. Furthermore, we must also acknowledge that there's fires that are going on about 10 miles down the road from here, where it's affected many of our students and their families. We close our campus for those days, but the reality is that despite us closing our campus, our students still live there, and this is their harsh reality. Illegal burning is prevalent and has been prevalent in our community, and we cannot keep kicking the can forward. I'll second Trustee Wilson's idea that sending a letter to the Bureau of Indian Affairs and carbon copying our congressman is in order. Happy Halloween, everyone, and Feliz Dia de los Muertos. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll hear from the Superintendent President.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've got quite a bit myself today. I think I've been here 2 days in the past 3 weeks because I've been bouncing around different places. I would first like to start off with recently Pam Hunter and I attended the Community College Workforce Consortium meeting. At that meeting, it was hosted by Google. There were probably about 8-9 other colleges from across the nation at that meeting. The meeting topics included equity and diversity in IT careers, artificial intelligence and its impact on equity, policy issues affecting colleges and workforce development. And again, some of the companies that were there that presented, and again, it was more intimate than this group, a little bit smaller, but it was Google, Facebook, Salesforce, and McKinsey, Inc. We've been invited to join this consortium. It is by invitation only, and also Google had expressed and extended an offer for us to participate in a program that they've piloted that does some online training and education and makes that available to students. at the end of that week, I was with my trustees at ACCT and had an opportunity to sit down with Chancellor Oakley and Henry Shannon from Chaffee Community College, and we had a very good discussion about the new funding formula and some of the impacts on different districts, and some insights on how, moving forward, that we feel that we will benefit and not have monies that we've earned going to necessarily to other districts. Again, the goal is for us to get more money for all districts so that all the students in California can be better served. And so we will work with the chancellor and advocate in that type of manner. In addition, I just got back from Japan, so I'm a little jet lagged. The U.S. Department in Japan, basically there's a program an initiative taking place, and it includes a lot of players. The Japanese tourism industry has been increasing rapidly. They're also preparing for the Olympics, and what they've learned is their hospitality management programs and their hospitality industry is not at the standards needed for the tourism and the tourists that come and see them. So they asked 5 institutions to come and meet with educators, to meet with with government representatives, to meet with commerce representatives. Those institutions were 4 universities, Cornell, UNLV, I'm forgetting the names of the one out of Florida and one out of Michigan. I didn't have those, and of course the only 2-year institution, College of the Desert.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And so it was interesting to sit among those 4 universities on a panel and speak about College of the Desert and Coachella Valley, and also our future plans related to hospitality management. Some of the people that were there included the Secretary General Office of Integrated Resort Regime Promotion. Now, what is that? That is a new division for providing gaming opportunities in Japan. And they're looking at putting in 3 gaming venues in Japan. And they call it the integrated resort regime because it's more palatable to the culture. Because the culture, it has about a 60% opposition to the plan. But the current administration is moving forward with developing that industry. In addition, we had an opportunity to meet Karen Kelly, who is Consul General at the American Consulate in Japan, and she hosted us in her home. And in our conversations, I was pleased to learn that she has a mother and a sister that lives in La Quinta, and a brother that lives in Palm Desert. And so she looks forward to coming and visiting us at College of the Desert when she is here in November. In addition to that, I would like to thank Cody McCabe that is there, and also Dr. Scott Adkins. The summit was in Osaka, and then it went to Tokyo. But I needed to be back for a foundation retreat meeting yesterday and a board meeting today. But they had the pleasure of, and this is very, very unusual to occur in Japan, but they had the opportunity to go to what is equivalent to our U.S. Congress as part of this delegation. And so I wish I could say more about some specifics, but if I did, we'd probably be here another hour. So maybe I'll do a white paper or something on what transpired. That concludes my remarks.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we have public comments again. If you would like to speak to the board, there are papers, I believe, in the back of the room that you can fill out and turn in over on the side to our board secretary. Comments from the public. Persons who wish to speak to the board on any item may do so at this time. There's a time limit of 3 minutes per person and 15 minutes per topic, unless further time is granted by the board. Your comments will be timed, and you will be asked to stop speaking when the timer sounds. Please understand the board welcomes your comments, but are not able to respond. Do we have any requests to speak to us at this time? She'll get it to me.
I just want to introduce myself. My name is Benina Savatla, and I was born and raised here in Indio, California. It is my first year attending College of the Desert, any college. My professor is Maria Avalos. She is an awesome person that I've met, and she goes above and beyond for her students. And this is my first time ever being in a board meeting, board experience. And I just want to say my dad was born in Texas. He was one of the first graduates of Indio High School, and he was a Vietnam veteran. And I am a single mother of 3 beautiful kids. I am a resident of Coachella. I built and bought my first home in 2017. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous.
That's all right.
And I built my home through Coachella Valley Housing, and I just want to say thank you for this experience, and thank you to my classmates. I am a single mother, and I am the last one of my immediate family. I just lost my brother last year, and I just want to say thank you to my support system, early childhood education class, and yeah, just thank you for this experience. And I just want to say that I see a lot of growth here and a lot of resources that help single moms. And I know a big topic is English speaking classes. But my situation, I was raised by a single father. They didn't speak Spanish to me. So I would love to learn more Spanish, because I know, a lot of people that are coming here, and it's about, learning English. But I wish there was a door open that it would make it easier for people like me that don't know Spanish to learn Spanish as well as people learning English. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And you are an inspiration. Is there anybody else that would like to address the board? Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Benina. At this time, we have 15 minutes left. So we're going to move on to consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda will be considered for approval by a single vote without discussion. Any board member may request that an item be pulled from the consent agenda to be discussed and considered separately in the action agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion, any items anyone would like pulled?
Yes, Madam Chair. I would like to pull item 11.06.
11.06. Anything else? Anyone else? Seeing no further items being pulled, we will be voting now on the remaining items on the consent agenda that have not been pulled. 11.06 has been pulled. So, all in favor of the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. And now we move to action agenda. At this time, we will be considering the item pulled from the consent agenda, and it will be discussed and considered separately. Do I have a motion to approve The pulled item 11.06, approval of the college's consent to the assignment and assumption agreement between the City of Palm Desert and the successor agency to the Palm Desert Redevelopment Agency regarding the McCallum Theater.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that 11.06, approval of the college's consent to the assignment and assumption agreement between the City of Palm Desert and the successor agency to the Palm Desert Redevelopment Agency regarding the McCallum Theater be approved. Any discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair. The agreement, and I had cited this, that the agreement carries the name of the past mayor and not the current mayor. And also, I inquired with regard to the board chair's signature, which is typically required on these types of documents, and is not on there. So was my understanding that this might get corrected, but knowing how city government works, it's a little bit, you think we're slow. So I'm not sure what the status is of that item.
And I also have counsel here to speak to this item.
Okay.
So, Stephen, do you mind coming forward and introducing yourself and the firm, just for the record? And
Yes. Good morning. My name is Steve McLaughlin. I'm from the legal counsel Atkinson Andelson. And I take your point regarding specifically the mayor's name. We've requested that that be changed, and that can be changed with a line out and a signature or an initial on that. And as far as the board president or whoever signs, that's essentially up to the district. The underlying agreement that requires us to consent to this, or at least allows us to it, just makes sure that we have the process in place to indicate whoever signs that as approval and has the option or the obligation and the right to approve it. So we can change that to whoever we want to sign it. But it also does need to be notarized as well.
For the public's understanding, could you explain the purpose of this agreement?
Yes. So in summary, what happened was we have a lease with the theater, and so the theater entered into a sublease with the redevelopment agency. The redevelopment agency is no longer. There's a law passed in California that dissolved those, and by operation of law, any agreement with those redevelopment agencies are taken over by the applicable county. And in our underlying lease agreement with the theater, it requires us to consent to any change. So this agreement is just consenting to allow the county to take over that sublease with the redevelopment agency. And it needs to be recorded with the county just to have a record. But we're not changing any of our rights or obligations under the lease. It's just acknowledging that the county will be taking over that sublease with the redevelopment agency.
So in simple language, this, because the redevelopment agencies were abolished, this cleans that up, basically.
Yes, that's a better way of saying it. Thank you.
Any further questions?
Well, it's the city's document. They need to come back with a revised document, correct?
Yes, and that's one of the issues because we're working through the Friends of the Cultural Center who's working through the city, and so we need to clarify that and get it changed. But if we have authorization based on those changes, we can move forward once we get that change.
So you're asking for us to move, is that right, President Kinnaman, to go ahead and vote?
Yes, Trustee Wilson.
With regard to those proposed changes?
Yes.
Okay. Again, I think that the board chair's signature should be part of the document. It typically is part of other documents. The mayor's signature of the city is on that document. And so with that, I believe our board chair's signature should also be on that document, along with President Kinnaman. So that's just my 2 cents.
And from a legal perspective, because this is going to be recorded, obviously, so people in the future are going to look at this document, and so I think that point is well taken.
Okay.
Oh, I finally found where you said the mayor's. It's under the signature line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. If there's no further discussion on this item, we will take our vote. So this is item 11.6. Approval of the college's consent to the assignment and assumption agreement between the City of Palm Desert and the successor agency of the Palm Desert Redevelopment Agency regarding the McCallum Theater. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And-
All,
And that is with the changes proposed.
changes proposed?
yes, proposed changes.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Seeing none, the motion has carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, it is 11:30, or 52, excuse me. So we'll move on to our first action item for the Board of Trustees. This is item 16.01. Resolution number 103119-1, short-term rentals. Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 103-119-1, short-term rentals as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, absolutely. I just want to know who authored this bill, and is this the purview of an educational system? What we serve our students, and that's our main goal and our mission and our vision. I just want to know who authored it. Why are we getting involved with cities' resolutions dealing with that? I'm just curious. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'm happy to respond.
All right.
This action is patterned after the action of the San Diego Unified School District, who did a very similar resolution. And it's also, they have been hit hard with regard to closure of schools due to, turns out, short-term rentals. So they have approached city councils to please take action. And so the San Diego Unified School District, they've had to close schools because of this. And so I think it behooves us as a board to support this, support our residents who live here full-time, to put something similar together and send it to our city councils as well.
President Kinnaman?
And Trustee Wilson, if you will remind me, I believe the city of Palm Springs had passed a resolution.
The city of Palm Desert did
Palm
pass
Desert,
a resolution
okay.
as well, yes.
Okay, all right.
So I still have a lot more questions. Is this about affordable housing? I'm talking, is that a K through 12? Is it a community college? I want to know why the College of the Desert, why are we brought forth this? Did you author, was it a resolution based from Palm Desert? Is that, who authored it?
I took the,
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes.
I took some of the wording from the San Diego Unified School District Board's resolution, because it is a school, and it is an elected, it's a San Diego Unified School District Board, elected officials. I took the wording from, and changed the wording somewhat, but the message is the same.
Okay. I'm just curious, that I think I just would love legal counsel to look at this. I'm just concerned because we are a community college and not a K through 12 district. I'm just very apprehensive when we take matters of other cities. Palm Desert, I'm from Desert Hot Springs. I don't know, I mean, I live in a very low income area. I'm just concerned on the ramifications of what we will do, because we do all represent other different types of affordability and different incomes here in the Coachella Valley. So I'm just asking a little more further study. I just kind of want to learn more about this. It's just, that's all.
And I also, part of my understanding on this, as other cities has looked at it, is, throughout California, we're finding housing shortages and increasing homelessness, and sometimes these homes with the short-term rentals aren't homes that the owners live in, and so they're homes that aren't available for people to acquire that might be full-time residents, and so it takes sometimes those homes off the market for that purpose is another part of what I understand.
The way I understand it, if I might, these are homes that are used as Airbnbs for people out of the area to come in. We have a large number of people that could be looking for homes that may qualify for a rental of a home, but these are not available for that purpose. They're used as for people, tourists that are coming in. And I know that Coachella Fest is usually the time that everybody decides that their home should be a short-term rental, and people go out of their way to get these. It basically doesn't give us a clientele in our community. It reduces the number of people that live in the community, that are local people, because it's people from out of the area. They're utilizing houses instead of homes, instead of utilizing the hotels and motels.
I just
that are built
wanted
for
more
that.
information on this. I think that this is something of a purview of a city, a county, and not the purview of our main mission, which is a college, the students. I'm just concerned that we're overstepping in other areas that we should not step on. I'm just curious. I just want more information. I want just a little more. That's all. I mean, I'm neutral.
I appreciate that, but if you don't have students, you don't have a college. And so the city of Palm Desert, they did a study on short-term rentals. 75% of the short-term rentals in the city of Palm Desert are owned by people that do not even live in Palm Desert, that don't live there. So they're making their money, but at the same time, we're losing valuable housing for the people that want to come here. So that's the reason why I'm pushing forward with this resolution. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the question. This is a roll call vote.
Trustee Perez.
Aye.
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Trustee Sanchez Fulton.
Abstain.
Trustee Yant.
Aye.
Trustee Stefan.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and at this time, it's 11:59, an appropriate time to break for lunch. The board will be returning to closed session, and we will reconvene at, I believe it's 1:30. Is that correct? Yes, 1:30. You're welcome to stay, and I hope some of you do. Yeah, we do have some study sessions coming up later today.
Sure.
That should be quite informative. We'll have one on the Clery Act and one on the Facilities Master Plan. So I'm looking forward to both. So, thank you.
Yes,
I believe
if,
we have something.
Madam Chair, I would also, if you don't mind, for the record, there was no reportable action during
Oh,
closed
I'm
session
sorry.
also.
Yes, I do need to say that.
And
There was no reportable action during closed session. I'm so sorry.
Carlos reminded me, or I wouldn't have remembered either. Pardon? I appreciate it. At this time, if we could move the study session related to the facilities master plan up. Did you get a motion a second already?
Yes.
Okay. If we could move it up for
Is
presentation.
there any objection to moving the study plan up to this point so that we can have just the study session on the facilities master plan, so that we can have information concerning this agenda item?
Madam Chair.
Any objections? Yes?
Can you repeat who made the motion and second? I didn't capture it,
The
sorry.
motion was made by Mary Jane Sanchez,
Thank you.
Trustee Sanchez, and it was seconded by Trustee Perez.
Thank you.
Did I get that right?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, so at this time.
There's no objection. You can go ahead.
Oh, thank you. At this time, I would like our Executive Director, John White, to come forward and present the facility master plan.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, trustees, President Kinnaman, and Vice Presidents.
Okay.
While he's presenting an exhibit on the screen, which you also have in your packets, I'll go ahead and get started. Vision 2030, the Facilities Master Plan for College of the Desert. During the spring of 2017, the College of the Desert began to develop its Facilities Master Plan intended to address current and future facility needs on a district-wide basis. By the way,
We're getting the right one up, yeah.
Yeah, I'll wait just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I had a similar opportunity yesterday, so
Oh, yes.
I can feel your pain, okay?
Oh, it's so painful.
And I've been having issues with my COD calendar, so my apologies for holding Miguel up. So.
And once again, this is not a PowerPoint slide, but rather it's a document, and so the document appears in your packet. And during the course of the presentation, we're going to be handing out the master plan itself, which is about a 100-page document. So I'm just going to make some introductory remarks, and then we'll hand out the plan, and I'll go over the findings.
Yeah, it's in our thing.
So once again, the process was designed to be transparent and inclusive. A number of outreach measures were taken, including consultation with students, faculty, and staff so that they could contribute their observations and their recommendations towards the effort. The result of the engagement for the Facilities Master Plan is driven by the needs identified in our Educational Master Plan and strategic planning efforts, and is intended to guide the district's major capital planning for the next 10 years, consistent with district priorities. The Facilities Master Plan takes a global view of capital resources and begins to lay out a plan for future capital development. A high-level planning approach was taken. The plan does not dictate office locations or the size of specific rooms or room types or the exact location or size of buildings and where they will be sited, but rather describes generally our capacity for providing space at our various locations. The detailed planning of that nature occurs at the time that an individual project is under consideration for funding and approval and is considered one at a time. The Facility Master Plan anticipates the capital needs for the district for approximately the next decade and memorializes and institutions our facility needs. Let me describe some of the major findings, and I think if it's convenient at this time, we'll just go ahead and Julia's going to provide you with a hard copy of the document. And once we do that, and at your leisure or convenience, the way that the document is laid out will be in a series of chapters. And if you want to consider just perhaps maybe to have in front of you on page 6 is the table of contents, and that'll just describe for you the organization of the document itself and lays out for you the outline of the process and the information that's contained. So what you're going to see in the Facilities Master Plan and with the table of contents on page 6 is simply that at the beginning of the plan, we introduce what is the purpose of the plan itself, why it exists, it's legally required. It's going to lay out the major planning principles that we've used in methodology. You're going to be benefiting from information provided by our institutional research office related to enrollments and growth and other quantitative measures, including utilization, that helps us determine what our capacity needs are. the way that the information is organized is by location. So going through the document, you'll notice, for example, the Palm Desert campus, followed by our other sites, including the Indio Center. Page 6 in the document.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, and John, remind me, now this is following the format from the State Chancellor's office for us to submit. And so some of the things that we would have in some of our other documents would not be in this because it's more for the Chancellor to have on record our 10-year plan. So there are some things that are different in this publication that's typically in publications that are for the general public.
And just to add to what Dr. Kinnaman said is there's a required format. So what we're saying is there's a required format for a facilities master plan at any of our community colleges, and it requires a baseline of data such as our enrollment and our weekly student credit hours. So that information is presented early in the document. And then that's used as a generally accepted way of evaluating generally space needs across our various community college campuses. And so that's the formula that we use, that we're required to use. But what's important to us is that this is really a companion to other planning documents. So we use an integrated planning approach for the campus that includes, as I already mentioned, the basis really is our academic and educational master plan. And it's from that the planning office that I head up, we're in response to that. So we know what the priorities are of the campus in terms of its instruction and academic needs, and then we need to be poised through time as we grow to be able to provide the space and facilities that are needed to support those programs. So just then to sort of continue the discussion, to mention how the document expresses itself. So it is by location, and there's a snapshot for what our current situation is, and then what we call the future state, which is approximately 10 years out. And that's the time horizon for this document, as I said, is about a decade. So it begins with the Palm Desert campus, followed by the Indio Center, followed by our sites, our locations in Desert Hot Springs, the temporary facility in Palm Springs, and Mecca Thermal. And then we do have other significant programs and activities, such as the newest activities and our efforts that will be taking place in Cathedral City with the automotive program, and the Roy Wilson Training Facility, which is another important component. So because the district is so large, this planning document at a high level tries to address district-wide our response to facility needs. So I mentioned about recommendations. So the major findings for the facilities master plan, going after our 2-year process, and some of this will be evident, and some of this is already in progress, by the way, to serve the rapidly growing population of the East Valley. So in particular, as a good example is our Indio Center. So gaining center status for Indio, we're in the current process of our Indio expansion project, a building that will more than double the amount of instructional space that we have in Indio, plus the recent acquisition of property that will be the location of our future child development center in Indio as well. And so we're already in responding to this critical need. To better utilize the Mecca thermal facilities in East Valley by providing selective improvements to best support unique training opportunities, programs, and activities. And I know that Dr. Neary and others have expressed to this board in different occasions some of the innovative programs that we hope to be hosting out at that site. To fully plan and develop the Palm Springs Development Project to better serve the West Valley and provide a regional workforce innovation center that will educate and train students for the 21st century. Jobs and careers in collaborative and what we're terming living learning environments that will focus on signature programs that are synergistic to this location and boosted by the local and regional partnerships that are underway. Fourth, an expectation that the Palm Desert campus, where we will continue to reinforce the existing campus programs and facilities, including the repurposing of its historic core and meeting the needs of future students with some future development. Lastly, as I touched upon earlier, detailed planning and programming for the land acquired to support Roadrunner Motors automobile and advanced transportation programs in Cathedral City. These are the highlights. The Facilities Master Plan includes perspectives on sustainability, environmental stewardship, healthy buildings, smart investment of resources, and alignment with campus established priorities. The Facilities Master Plan should utilize, the district should use it for historical guidance when new projects are discussed or as facility needs or opportunities arise. The college should continue its inclusive planning process that links together strategic planning, the educational master plan, and other planning efforts to inform our planning, facilities planning, and our capital development. The Facilities Master Plan is a living document. It's intended to be updated and used effectively as a tool by the district for long-term physical and capital planning and development, and it's not in any way meant to constrain what our vision is. A complete version of Vision 2030, the Facilities Master Plan, will be posted on the Bond Program Facilities Planning web pages on the College of the Desert site, if approved by the Board of Trustees today. I do want to mention the rigorous approval process, which is documented in the handout that you have. As part of the review process for this plan, like other major plans by the district, there's been significant review by the facility, in this case, the Facilities Advisory Committee, a special task force on the Facilities Master Plan, as well as the Academic Senate and the College Planning Council. And those reviews have all been positive and affirmative, and the recommendation is to bring this document to you today for your review and approval. Thank you very much.
John, I think there's a word processing error on page 3 of the summary under Academic Senate, because the second reading preceded the first reading dates.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you, Trustee.
Do you see that?
Oh, in the summary document.
Summary document.
Yes, thank you. I'm a little bit relieved that it's not here.
Oh, no, it's not in there. It's in the summary document.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Does anyone on the board have any questions?
Nope, very good. Do you have any comments?
Anything anyone would like to say? I mean, this is a beautiful plan. I wish we had more time to look it over, but we understand that the community has already reviewed this. They've already voiced their opinion on it. And looking at it now, I think we can all be very proud of what's been accomplished. Anyone else like to say anything, share anything? And no questions, right? Okay.
I would only, if I may, Madam Chair, a couple of items in here when we have the Indio campus, like when you look at the expansion, many of the renderings and site acquisitions that we've done that you've seen before, you'll see them incorporated in this document as well. So I just want, since you haven't had a lot of time to.
I also want to say I'm very glad to see a glossary so I can understand the things I don't understand. A little bit better.
Thank you.
Especially all those acronyms that we use. Anybody else? Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second. to approve the facilities master plan as presented. Student trustee, could I have your advisory vote, please?
Aye.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And this motion carried unanimously. The next action, Human Resources, 18.01, tentative agreements between the Desert Community College District, and thank you very much, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Between the Desert Community College District and the California School Employees Association and its Chapter 407. Do I have a motion to approve the tentative agreements between the Desert Community College District and the California School of Employees Association and its Chapter 407 as presented?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the tentative agreements between the Desert Community College District and California School Employees Association and its Chapter 407 as presented. Any discussion, questions, anything anybody would like to ask? Seeing none, we'll call the question. Student trustee, your advisory vote.
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The motion is carried unanimously. 18.02, tentative agreement between the Desert Community College District and the College of the Desert Adjunct Association. Do I have a motion to approve the tentative agreements between the Desert Community College District and the College of the Desert Adjunct Association as presented?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the tentative agreements between the Desert Community College District and the College of the Desert Adjunct Association as presented. Any discussion? Seeing none, student trustee, your advisory vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And this motion again carried unanimously. The next item is a cost of living adjustment as funded by the California Community Colleges Chancellor's allocation. Do I have a motion to approve the cost of living adjustment as funded by the California Community Colleges Chancellor's Association as presented?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the cost of living adjustment as funded by the California Community Colleges Chancellor's allocation. Is there any discussion?
I believe so. Serving as your state trustee, I think our cost of living adjustments, what we're trying to do also is to increase the Pell Grants. That's something that we're really wanting to make sure that the new budget reflects that because of the higher cost of housing, the higher cost that's happening. So I'm glad that the Chancellor's office adjusted that, but we hope to see more changes when it having to deal with the cost of living adjustments. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions, comments? Seeing none, it's been moved and seconded to approve the cost of living adjustments as funded by the California Community Colleges Chancellor's allocation as presented. Student trustee, your advisory vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? And this motion carried unanimously. 18.04, presentation of the initial reopener proposal from the College of the Desert Adjunct Association to the Desert Community College District. Do I have a motion to approve the presentation of the initial reopener proposal from the College of the Desert Adjunct Association to the Desert Community College District as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, seeing no discussion, the question before you is to approve the presentation of the initial reopener proposal from the College of the Desert Adjunct Association to the Desert Community College District as presented. Our student trustee, Kiana Garcia.
Aye.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion has again carried unanimously. That brings us down to action item 19. This is 19.01, is a notice of intent to award contracts for the Central Campus Quad renovation project. Do I have a motion to approve the notice of intent to award contracts for the Central Campus Quad renovation project as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Nope.
Seeing none, student trustee Kiana Garcia.
Aye.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion is carried unanimously. Next, we have 19.02, notice of bid cancellation, general construction services for the old warehouse renovation project. Do I have a motion to approve the notice of bid cancellation?
So moved.
It's been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
And a second. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair, can I have an explanation of this? What?
Yes, Vice President Ramont, are you the right person to ask?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, Trustee Wilson. What this was we had our old warehouse that we wanted to reconfigure and modernize. And when we went out to bid, you can tell that the economy's good right now because we did a job walk, had people show up, and then when it came time to bid, we got one bid, and it was for about $1.3 million, and we were expecting it to be like $350,000 or under $500,000. So what we decided to do was then reject that, and then Moss Companies is going to act as the general contractor in this and directly contract. And so they've already worked with contractors, and the actual bids for the work itself are coming in right where it was budgeted at by going to a different delivery method. We've had to do that in a couple other instances in the past, and it's saved a significant amount of money. So.
Okay. Any further questions? Seeing none, wait, I got ahead of myself here. Student trustee Kiana Garcia, your advisory vote?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. This motion again carried unanimously. That brings us, because there are no action items under the area of instruction, that now brings us to the last of our study sessions, the Cleary Report. Dr. Kinnaman, would you like to introduce our
I certainly
study
would.
session?
Thank you. I'd like to introduce Tim Nakamura, Director of Public Safety and the Department in Emergency Preparedness. I'm sorry, that's a long title.
That's all right. Okay, good afternoon, members of the board, Executive Cabinet, Dr. Kinnaman. We're going to go ahead and go over the presentation, which is posted up behind you on the television there. And we are going to go ahead and go over the Cleary Report. Most of you know what that is, but for those of you that don't, the Cleary Report is an act that was mandated after a 1986 tragic murder of Jean Clary in her dorm room at Lehigh University. And during that time, when her parents inquired as to statistics of crime on that particular campus, nobody had any information regarding that at that time, because it was mandated for universities and colleges to produce crime statistics of certain crimes. That being said, her parents went forward with their congressman and created the Jean Clary Act of 1990, which now mandates that all schools and universities and colleges that get federal funding are mandated to report the particular crime statistics for that following year. And anybody is able to look those up online or in a paper copy and so forth. So that's what we've done, and we do that every October, and so here we are. So if we look at the we are always 1 year behind. So although we are in 2019, we are talking about the 2018 statistics. For the Palm Desert campus, the crime stats are as followed. We had one motor vehicle theft on campus, and that was another golf cart, unfortunately. We had 4 counts of burglary, 3 issues of domestic violence, 2 issues of stalking, 1 drug law arrest, 2 drug law violations, 2 liquor law violations, 21 thefts of property and 12 acts of destruction of property, and that's any kind of vandalism. It could be someone etching their name into a Coke machine, or breaking a window, or what have you.
Tim, can we ask you questions along the way, or would you prefer that we wait till we're...
No, you can absolutely ask me questions.
How do you define domestic violence then on campus?
So domestic violence is broken down to certain categories, and for this one, for the three that we're talking about here, it's anything that has to do with a domestic couple. It's not an argument, but it's actual physical altercation. I believe in these three particular incidents, we had one where a male shoved a female, and then reported it, so we reported it as domestic violence. Another one, a couple was arguing in their vehicle in the parking lot. Unfortunately, she found out some news about about things that he was doing, and she slapped him. So we counted that as an issue of domestic violence, and I believe there was one other where there was an issue with another shove.
And stalking?
Stalking is defined as any kind of harassment via text or electronic device, or could be following people on campus and so forth into different areas. If you see someone, how they define it is if you see someone in at least 3 different locations. So if you see John Smith at the library, it's just whatever. If you see him at the Beeps Cafe, you consider that a coincidence. But then if you see him again at the gym, now you can consider that a case of stalking, like this person's actually following me. And we had 2 incidents of stalking. One was actually a student trying to get to know another female student, and I think the other, I believe, was some type of electronic or social media stalking that occurred here on campus.
Thank you.
For the Indio campus, the crime stats for 2018, we had one event where we had 1 incident of burglary, 8 thefts of property, and 3 destruction of property. For the Palm Springs campus, we had 2 thefts of property and 2 destructions of property. And again, that is the temporary campus in Palm Springs. For the Mecca campus, we had 1 liquor law violation and 1 destruction of property on that campus. So again, not much going on in those outer areas there. At the Pace Westfield Mall, we do still have to report crime because we do have students that go there in a particular window of time, and during that time there were no reportable crimes reported for that as well. And at the Desert Hot Springs campus, there was no reported crimes at that area as well. And that concludes the 2018 Clary report. For 2019 and 2020, the Public Safety Department would like to do an update, and if you could see back there, we actually were able to put in a pie chart there that the incidents of crime and so forth that have occurred on campus as of today. Actually, I believe this was as of October, middle of October. Officers have addressed 3 assaults so far on campus. A replica gun inside a student's vehicle, and several confrontations with homeless people under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Other calls of service that we have responded to were traffic accidents just throughout Alumni Ring Road and in different parking lots for hit and runs and so forth. Employee, student, medical aids, stolen property reports, and I think we had 1 other case of stalking. The chart on the left shows the breakdown of how we've responded thus far. And as you can see, misdemeanor crimes is at 41%, where we only have a 2% of felonies, so nothing too serious, but there are thefts and other things that are misdemeanors that are occurring. Everything else, another majority would be medical aids that we responded to.
Could you tell us more about the confrontations with homeless people?
So every year as the weather starts getting cooler, or if it gets hotter, we have homeless people come onto campus and try to use facilities or try to, stay in the shade or get cool or stay warm and so forth. And a lot of the times they have, they're not taking classes, they're not students, and they just show up. Sometimes they just appear and walk into a class and sit down. And we, the instructor will then contact public safety, and we would go ahead and escort that person off campus at that time. And it's kind of a cyclical thing. Every time, when the weather is nice, we really don't get too much, but then as the temperature drops or the temperature increases, we start getting an influx of that.
So this would be going into buildings.
Sometimes buildings, sometimes, just on park benches, and just sitting and trying to talk to students and so forth. Yes, so it's not just buildings, but just on campus in general.
Vehicles parked overnight?
We have had one vehicle that was parked overnight, but no, nothing of significance.
What would be considered a felony? I see we have 2% felonies.
So felonies can be assault with a deadly weapon. It could be your rape, arsons, murders. We don't have that. But it could be those things that could be named. I believe the felonies that we're talking about there was, I don't want to comment on it because I don't remember exactly, but I think one of them was an assault. Okay. All right, and in just to put a comparison, we put the 2017 and the 2018 comparisons, and as you could see, we did have a slight drop in misdemeanors in 2018 as opposed to 2017, and everything pretty much remained similar. Medical calls are still consistently not high, but they're consistent. We have a lot of students that have issues with seizures and diabetic emergencies and so forth, and we assist with that when we need to. Oops, excuse me. And then we just have another slide for a comparison as far as the 2018 and 2019 stats, and the 2019 is in orange, and as you can see, it's increased a bit since the beginning of the year. And thankfully at the Mecca campus, it's pretty much remained the same.
Over the same time period, student population has increased by what?
I'm not sure.
Dr. Neary.
I'm not sure, Madam Chair.
Dr. Neary.
So the student population around that period has increased by a few thousand.
A few thousand, okay.
In the following slides, we will highlight just a few of the education programs that we have participated in. And one was, for the first time, was International Women's Day. Officer Velez there on the left was featured on a poster, and we wanted to go ahead and celebrate her, and it was on March 8th. And she had a choice of going to an agency, a law enforcement agency, but she chose to stay with us. And she really, really likes it here. So. She was prominently featured on that incident. We celebrated the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, along with Cathedral City and Desert Hot Springs, who changed their patches to pink. We actually ended up, and I think we gave some pins out last year for breast cancer awareness, and we still do the Pink Ribbon campaign, and we will continue to do so in support of that. We had our National Night Out with the Indio Police Department this year, which was celebrated in August. And this is just an opportunity for us as a public safety department to share with the community what we do for the Indio campus as well as other campuses, and allow them to know the services that we provide for students. We also participated in the Running from the Law 5K from Palm Springs PD, and this supported the Memorial Fund for Officer Zarebny and Gil Vega. Wow. And so our staff ran that 5K and walked that 5K, and the majority of the people in the picture there are officers, and even Jill joined in. And that's our admin assistant. Alice training. Alice training continues to be a key point for us to train the faculty, staff, and students. with regards to how to deal with active shooter incidents. So far, we've had just certified over about 2,500 staff, faculty, and students since February of 2018. So we've been doing a number of classes as well as teaching students as well throughout regarding the active shooter training program. RAD training, it's the rape aggression defense training as well. Our officers are, for the most part, the aggressors in the ghillie suits, or the, excuse me, not ghillie suits, but the I think they're called tough man or fist suits. And basically what they do is they go and attack people in the women's self-defense course, and the women get to beat them up for hours. And we have our officers that participate in that as well. And finally, the building captain training. We have taken a step further into our emergency preparedness, and we have actually trained faculty and staff to be building captains for their particular area in order to help facilitate the evacuation of the campus in a much orderly sense. As far as the public safety department, in the past we have had assistance with M&O to help us clear buildings, and in the event of an emergency we may need additional people to help us out. Therefore, we created the building captains program. They're identified with the blue helmet and the blue vest, and it actually says building captain. We have conducted a couple of mini drills with some of those already trained building captains, and for the first time we officially launched them during the Great Shakeout this year. And if you participated or if you were there, you would have seen quite a few people in some blue vests assisting with the evacuation of the campus, so it worked out very well. And we will continue to continue to train other faculty and staff in the area to help evacuate and assist us if needed for an emergency. And that concludes my report. Are there any questions?
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. I want to thank Tim Nakamura and John White again for the beautiful study sessions that we had this afternoon. We appreciate you waiting all day, John, and coming in this afternoon, Tim. So thank you very, very much. We really appreciate that. Our student trustee was unable to get here because she had classes in the morning. So, and I know you may have prepared a report or you might not have. Do you have a report you would like to give? If you have one, I don't want to deny you this opportunity.
Just a report. I attended the Seesaw Conference last weekend in Sacramento. Love that conference. I was able to attend 4 different workshops based on like leadership skills, and I learned a lot through that. I also talked to a lot of different community colleges, like Fresno City College, and got to network with a lot of different students, a lot of new trustees I didn't meet at the Student Trustee Conference in August, so that was great. I'm still in contact with them now. They definitely help. It was really nice meeting those students from different student governments and bonding with this Ascot Student Senate here, and especially when speaking to them about different events and different ideas, and we can share ideas, so that was a really, really great trip, but that was all I had to report today.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we're going to go to future agenda items. I want to remind everyone that we are finalizing a list of what has been submitted already. We're going to try and bring it to the board in November. We've reviewed everything mentioned over the past year, and we'll provide a status for each of the things that you guys have requested.
Yes.
But I know that there are other things that may have come up. So, student trustee Kiana Garcia, is there anything you would like to see on a future agenda item that you haven't shared yet?
No future agendas, items.
Not at this time. Trustee Perez?
Sure. Just as we discussed earlier, Dr. Neri, maybe a study session as to what it is that we're doing for our inmate population.
Okay. Trustee Wilson?
Yes, Madam Chair. First, just want to thank everybody for the birthday cards, the cake, and the vegan cupcakes. So thank you very much. My daughter's going to love it. So, also would like drafts of the letter to the Bureau of Indian Affairs, a draft of the letter with regard to the illegal burning and smoke from the dump site on Indian land, as commented by both Trustee Perez and I, for agenda on next month. And I know how busy Julia is, but still looking forward to the draft of the letter to the South Coast Air Quality Management District with regard to the Salton Sea issues. And the letter that was, the resolution that was just passed today on the short-term rentals, if we could be sure and send copies of those letters to the mayors, the county supervisor, and to the 3 school districts. And just wanted to also comment that Buford Kreitz, who was a professor here for many years, has recently been hospitalized, and I think a get well card to Buford, Professor Kreitz, would be in order, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. And Trustee Sanchez-Fulton.
I just want to thank our COD staff for bringing the meeting out to the different communities of the Coachella Valley. I think it's important. Would love to see a future meeting out in my neck of the woods, out in Desert Hot Springs as well. I think it would be wonderful, so I'm really glad we had it here and would love to see that in a future meeting. Also, something that we haven't heard lately is how are we doing with our College of the Desert alumni? I haven't received any word how our street fair is going. I know I spoke to a merchant the other day. I was just kind of seeing that, and they were very pleased with sales. They mentioned to me that they have an upswing this year. So I'm very glad, like to hear some numbers and hear how we're doing. Also, very important item, Trustee Perez mentioned that about the incarceration, but more I want to hear about affordable textbooks. I got a phone call from a student in regards to, I heard what we have options, that wonderful option of Follett, that a one-stop shop. I would like a little more information on that in a study session. I think that's going to be wonderful to know more about that. And in the vein of that, just an update of our the food pantry. How are we doing in that? That's something that are we going to establish them here? I mean, or in all. I just kind of want to get always an update, always that we get an update on that. And finally, wanted to know, are we going to do anything for the Day of the Dead? I didn't mention, we have, every year we have that. Is there going, maybe that's, I don't know who to ask. Is there something for that this year at the COD?
Dr. Neer, are you prepared to respond? Okay.
So we always do the altars for Dia de los Muertos.
Yes.
And if you look, the altars are already in place at the Indio campus, and we do celebrate Dia de los Muertos at Palm Desert campus.
Yes.
And what you see on the beautiful posters around you are pictures of the altars that have been designed this year.
Oh, great. So,
and on Tuesday night, we had a speaker series come, and then we had the breaking of the bread. We had Pan del Muerto,
yes.
I guess. And we did a celebration Tuesday evening as well.
It happened already?
Mm-hmm. And we can get you more information of the activities. I'll send it to the president's office.
So maybe in the future, inform the trustees about that, because it would have been good that we could participate in something like that. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Trustee Young?
Nothing.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everyone that has made today possible from the college. I know that this was out of the ordinary. I know it was extra work, and we really appreciate everything that you did to make today possible. And we appreciate everyone in the community for coming out. And one thing that is coming up is Friends of the Library is having their sale this weekend at College of the Desert. It begins Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you are in need of books or records or tapes, you might want to attend that because you can get big discounts. Also, this coming weekend happens to be one of our trustees' birthdays, and the board has a little card for you. And I will not sing in public because everyone will evacuate the room and the community very quickly.
Thank you.
And we'd like to continue having a facility here in Coachella. So, if there is nothing else that the board would like to share, we will adjourn, and please remember those people that are dealing with the fire as we go out in the communities this week. Thank you. It is now
2:58.
2:58. Okay. 2:56 by my computer.